The world of the comic universe is filled with many mysteries, and one of these is the 10 naturally occurring superpower particles that exist in this world. In this video, we'll be going over what the superpower particles actually are and the effects that they have on the humans in the Comic Republic world. Without further ado, let's get into it. There are 10 particles that make up the universe and they can be found all around our world. The same is true for the Comic Public universe, but what makes these particles superpower particles in the Comic Public universe is because for some reason, few humans have the ability to absorb one or more of these particles and turn them into superpowers. These people are called Homo Variants, or otherwise called Alpha Sapiens. It is still unclear if there is a criteria to being able to absorb these particles, like race, genetics, experience, etc. But for now, it just seems to be random people who are just born with the ability to absorb these particles. But I think there has to be more to it than just luck. The particles can only be absorbed by humans though, as we have never seen any other life form make use of the powers to become superpowered in any way. This was already hinted at with the name Homo Variants and Alpha Sapiens. The preview for the Hero Generation Issue 3 reads, "For the past few decades, science has caused us to understand that there are 10 particles that comprise our universe. There are Z particles, brightness particles, string particles, tachyon particles, prions, gravitons, graviphotons, antiparticles, sparticles, and strangens. In the past few years, certain turn of events have shown the world that certain humans exist with the ability to naturally absorb these particles at any stage in their life and gain superhuman abilities. We now call them Homo Variants, or as I like to call them, Alpha Sapiens." It is unclear for how long Alpha Sapiens have been around, but we do know for sure from this text that they have only been discovered in recent times. These superpower particles give different kinds of powers to different kinds of individuals, and the story almost seems to suggest that the power you gain depends on the type of superpower particles you are able to absorb. As in the case of Max Speed, who has been found out to be able to absorb tachyon particles. Tachyon particles are hypothetical particles that travel faster than the speed of light and may travel backwards in time. Which will explain why Max Speed is so unbelievably fast, because it regularly absorbs tachyon particles that are known to be faster than light. This could also mean you will get different types of powers if you can absorb more than one type of particle. The particles responsible for the other Alpha Sapiens powers have not been discovered yet though. This is all a theory, but it could mean that all the Alpha Sapiens can be divided into different classes based on the superpower particles they absorb. There are different kinds of superpower particles and they are all carefully named and explained in the endnote of Hero Gen Issue 3. Prions are said to be the nucleus of the atoms. They are the building blocks of all quarks. Gravitons are the theoretical particles that allow for gravity to fit into the model of our observable forces. It represents gravity on a molecular level. Graviphotons is a particle that would be created when gravitational fields exist on the fifth dimension. They would attract and repel at the same time, creating anti-gravity. Strangens are created in nature when a neutron star builds up so much pressure that the electrons and protons in its core fuse together. Tachyons is a particle that moves faster than light, and if it exists, it will break even the light barrier. String is a particle different from all others that have been listed, which are called point particles. It can be said to be replace prions as the building blocks of all quarks. Sparticles are incredibly heavy particles that will break down in the blink of an eye, as particles tend to crumble if they get heavy enough. Antiparticles are the particles that make up antimatter. They have the same mass as matter but the opposite charge. Z particles. These particles were proposed to explain why particles that were supposed to have mass were massless. Brightness particles are particles that are able to encompass different dimensions. Most of these particles have not yet been confirmed scientifically to exist, but the proof of their existence is very likely, and they have all been backed up by multiple theories. Although they might all have been scientifically proven and evidence found for them in the Comic Public universe. The superpower particles can only be absorbed by humans, as no other animal or species have been found to exhibit special powers as a result of the absorption of these particles. I like to think of them as scraps of creation that still have contained in them the powers that was present at the beginning of time to bring the universe into existence. Pure leftover ingredients used by Ludimari when he created the Comic Republic universe. They are recorded as being extremely powerful too, as only trace amounts of strangens can destroy the entire Earth. There have not been too many Alpha Sapiens rules in storyline yet. I like to think that there are more out there that we don't know about. The confirmed Alpha Sapiens in the Comic Republic are powerbox, leader of the extremes with superpower strength and yes, flight, energy absorption and redistribution powers. Nutek, a technopath and superhuman genius. The Altered Speedster, skilled in combat. Beats is an Alpha Sapien capable of harnessing and weaponizing sound waves. And more recently introduced, Jazz and Tag Duo, with one of them having the powers to create energy constructs, while the other's powers have not been confirmed in the story yet. In the end of the Hero Gen Issue 5 though, we see Jazz and Tag disrupting an illegal human trafficking operation that seems to target Alpha Sapiens specifically. If this story progresses, we'll get introduced to a lot more Alpha Sapiens later in the story. Basically, superpower particles are the building blocks of both our worlds and the comic public universe, and being able to absorb them grants you several mutations and superpowers. The effects of these particles have not been fully explored yet. Stay tuned for more information about superpower particles and comic public universe characters.